Hey guys, so for today's video, I have seen this set done a couple times and it was reminding me of like those sheets of like stick-on earrings that you used to get as a kid, whenever you got like a dress-up kit or something, or like if you went to like Claire's or somewhere like that, they would have those little sheets of like those plastic stick-on earrings that honestly never stuck very well, and I thought it was super cute and I wanted to do it myself because like I said, I thought it was super cute. I did see it from a few different people and I didn't screenshot or like save it or anything. I just saw it real quick when I was scrolling through one time on Instagram, like on the explore page or whatever, and I was like, oh, that's cute, and I just kept scrolling. Usually I save stuff, so I don't know why I didn't save that. But anyhow, I am going in with the white from Ballpit and applying this to all of the nails. I did 2 coats of this and I cured each coat for 60 seconds. And this design is super cute and super easy. Anyone can do it, and it's a great way to get rid of any of those cheap little rhinestones that you tend to get in like the big kits of like nail art stuff. You know, like the little resin ones that are pretty cheap and like they're not the best quality. I mean, they're fine to use, and if you like using those, then use them, but I do personally prefer glass rhinestones over the little plastic like resin ones, just because they shine, the glass ones shine and sparkle a little better than the resin ones. The resin ones don't really shine that much, but they do have really fun little shapes in them, which is really nice. That's why I like the resin ones, because I feel like there are more shapes in them, but they are usually pretty small, especially like when you buy those kits of like nail art that you can get off of Amazon or whatever, and it comes with like 6 or 7 of those little containers that have the different colored rhinestones, and like some of them are different shapes. Most of them are usually just the plain circle ones, and they're all like the same small size or whatever. So if you have a bunch of those and you're like, I never use these, or I need to like get rid of these, this is a really fun way to do that. And like I said, it's super cute design, super easy to do. So these are the little rhinestones that I picked out. This one has stars and like teardrop shapes. The next one that I have is just those plain circle ones. And then the last one that I pulled out, it has a bunch of different shapes. Like there's flowers and stars and hearts and bows and like squares, triangles, rectangles, butterflies. I don't know, there's all kinds of crazy shapes in those, but those ones are like black and they kind of have like this oil slick type of finish on them. They look really cool. I got those ones from Shein, I think, a couple years ago. Either Shein or AliExpress or Temu. Those are kind of the 3 places that I buy like nail art supplies from, like rhinestones and stickers and charms and stuff, especially charms, because they're relatively cheap compared to other places and even compared to Amazon. I'll try to see if I can find those again somewhere. I'm not 100% sure because, like I said, I've had them for a couple years, and usually when you're buying from, you know, Amazon, Temu, AliExpress, Shein, all of that, they tend to sell out of stuff and then you can never find it again. So I'll see if I can find those. But the other 2 containers that I have, you can always find those anywhere, because like I said, they are the like cheap little plastic resin ones that come in like the big kits where you get a bunch of different little containers, and like you can get glitters and stickers and whatever. Like whenever you're first starting out doing nails, you tend to buy like the big packs of nail art stuff because you don't have anything, so you want to get, you know, all that you can for and not spend a whole bunch of money. So those probably came from one of those big kits from like Amazon or something. Sometimes even like polygel kits or acrylic kits and stuff from Amazon will come with these little packs as well. So, you know, you can search up what little rhinestones or whatever, and you'll be able to find them. There's so many of those different ones, and they come in different colors, different shapes and stuff. So to put the rhinestones on, I just took the Squeeze Gummy Jelly Rhinestone Glue from NAILZ, and I just put on a bunch of little dots all around the nail, in places where I was thinking of putting the rhinestones, and I just kind of had fun with it and put a lot, because you know those little stick-on earring sheets, they always had a lot of little stick-on earrings on there, so I wanted to just kind of fill it up, but like have them spaced out so you still could see the background of the nail. And I started with doing the fun shapes first, so like the stars and the butterflies and the hearts and stuff. And then once I got those on, I went in with just the plain circles and put those in the rest of the spots. And I was just trying to use as many different colors as I could on the nail. And I was trying not to put like the same color next to each other because I wanted to have a wide variety of colors. I also wanted to have a wide variety of shapes. And then I did go ahead and cure that for 60 seconds. And if you've watched any of my previous videos where I put rhinestones or charms on the nail, then you know I typically will put the rhinestone glue down and then put the top coat directly on top before putting on any charms or rhinestones, because I don't like going around all of that with the top coat and trying not to get it on the rhinestones. It doesn't really matter so much for the charms, but like rhinestones, I don't like to put top coat on because it always messes up how they look, and they don't look as nice once they're top coated. But for this set in particular, I wanted to top coat over these rhinestones because I didn't want them to look like rhinestones. I wanted them to look like those little plastic stick-on earrings that you used to get, and those always were just kind of like, they looked like little bubbles almost, if that makes any sense. They didn't have like the little facets in them to like reflect the light off of and have like the shine and sparkle. Although I will say the not the rhinestones, the resin rhinestones usually don't reflect the light like the glass ones and like have the different facets and stuff. Sometimes they have the different facets, but they just don't reflect the light as much as the glass ones do, or like the crystal rhinestones. So they already kind of have that bubbly, plasticky look to them when they're the resin rhinestones. But I wanted it to be even more of that like bubbly plastic look to them, because you can kind of see on some of them how they do have the little facets, and it is kind of reflecting the light a little bit differently, and I didn't want it to look like that. So I am going to top coat over everything once I'm finished. That's why I am applying them a little bit differently than how I usually do. I will say though, I don't like doing it this way. One, because I don't like to try and go around all of the stuff that's on the nails and trying not to get the top coat on top. But also the second reason is because when you put down a charm or a rhinestone down into the rhinestone glue, it will like squeeze out from underneath, and you have this lump of rhinestone glue around your rhinestone or charm, and you can see it on some of the little rhinestones that I put down, especially like the stars. It happened a lot on, and some of the other shapes too. But you can see like that rhinestone glue that squished out from underneath, and then it cures like that, and you just have this lump of rhinestone glue that you're seeing, and I don't like how that looks. And whenever I do the rhinestone glue and then put the top coat on top, I never have that issue where I have the rhinestone glue like oozed out from underneath of the rhinestone or the charm that I had put on. It all just kind of levels out and merges into each other, so it's like one flat even surface. And even after you like, if you do the rhinestone glue, put your rhinestones on, and then top coat after, even after top coating afterwards, you can still see that lump of rhinestone glue once the top coat is cured, because that's just adding another layer of something on top of that lump there. So it does make it more pronounced, because now there's another layer on top, and the more layers you add on top of something, you know, the higher up it's going to be, and it's going to create lumps and stuff. So that's also another reason why I personally don't like doing rhinestones and charms like this, where you put the rhinestone glue, then you put the charms, then you top coat afterwards. I just don't like how it looks. It looks unclean to me. So, but you know, everyone has their own personal preference and how they like to do things. So, you know, you do what you want. But for this one, it really wasn't that big of a deal, but you can in the end see some of that rhinestone glue that had oozed out, and you can see it like around some of the rhinestones in the end as well, which I'm not really a huge fan of, but it's really not that big of a deal, and it's not like super bad either. It is more noticeable around some of them, but like I said, it's really not that big of a deal. Although I will say, if I do this again, I would probably either add the rhinestone glue to the entire nail, so that way it's all, the rhinestone glue is just all over the entire nail, and it's one even surface of rhinestone glue, and then top coat over that. Or I would add the little rhinestone glue dots and then top coat over that, stick the rhinestones on, and then top coat again, although that's adding even more layers to the nail and potentially bulking it up a little bit. So I don't know, I would do this a little bit differently, just so I wouldn't be able to see the rhinestone glue that like squished out from underneath some of the rhinestones. And that's basically it for this set, is just gluing down these rhinestones, and then top coating over them once you're finished. So like I said, super easy. It's actually pretty quick to do this as well. It doesn't really take very long. Beginners can do this, and this really is a super like customizable type of set as well, because you can do whatever kind of background you want. If you want to add a little bit of glitter onto the background, you can do whatever shapes of rhinestones, whatever colors, you know. It is a very customizable set. You don't have to do it exactly how I'm doing it, where I was trying to make it actually look like a sheet of those stick-on earrings. But yeah, they're like, I love super customizable sets like this, where it doesn't really matter like the colors you do or like the shapes of rhinestones or whatever you use, because it's going to look really cute no matter what. And it's really fun to be able to see like, you know, everyone's different personalities through like the different colors they used and the different shapes and stuff they use, and like if they chose to use glitter for the background, or if they did a cat eye for the background, or even like a jelly color. I don't know. Sets like these are super fun, and I do really enjoy them. And then once I have the rhinestones fully cured on, I'm just going in with my shiny top coat from LGN and top coating over the entire nail, including the rhinestones, because I do want that like plasticky, bubbly look that I mentioned earlier. And that is why it is recommended usually to not top coat your rhinestones, because then they get this like plastically bubbly look to them, and it just kind of, I don't like to say it cheapens the look of them, but I can't think of like a better word to explain it than it cheapens the look of the rhinestones. So Yeah. But, you know, like I said, if you prefer to top coat your rhinestones, then you go ahead and top coat your rhinestones. But I don't recommend it, and I don't like how it looks, so that's that. But for a set like this, I obviously am doing it because this is the way that I want them to look. And if this is the look that you're going for whatever you're using your rhinestones for, then go ahead and top coat them. And you can see it kind of like flattens them out and makes them look flat, for lack of a better word. And you don't get like the dimension in them and like the different reflex and whatever. But anyhow, I just kind of went in all different kinds of directions when top coating, as you can see here, because I was trying to get it so it wasn't like pooling around the rhinestones a lot. It did pool around some in some areas, but I was trying to keep a pretty thin layer of not rhinestone glue, top coat, and like I said, spread it out so it's not pooling so much. And then once I get that applied, I do go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And this is the finished result. I think this set is super cute and it's super fun. This would have been a really fun set for like New Year's. Just because like all the rhinestones and the colors, it kind of looks like confetti even. I mean, I was going for it looking like the stick-on earrings, but it does kind of look like confetti, like the different shapes of confetti falling and whatever. This would also be fun. Like, this is a fun set for any time of year. I feel like this is something we would probably see more in like the spring and summertime, just because it seems like a more brighter kind of design. Although, like I said, you can customize it and you can make it darker and like do certain colors if you wanted to make it fit in for like winter or fall or Valentine's Day or whatever. Like, you can customize it and do that. But like, if you're doing something like this where it's all the different colors on a light background like this, I do feel like it is more of a like springy, summery type of set. I feel like we are going to be seeing a lot more of these type of nails this year, just because I've noticed them quite a bit here towards the end of 2025. So I do feel like we might be seeing these more. They're super fun, super cute, super easy. Even just for like a single accent nail, it would be super cute if you didn't want to do all 10 of your nails or whatever with this. It's just a super fun, cute design, and I really like it. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.